Welcome, Dewey Joe Beene Jr., operating partner of Fault Ice, and Dan Hayes, MMR Prime Steakhouse, wine director. Two Parties Extra. I'm Helen Wallace. We're at the Oklahoman's video studio to talk about the long hot summer. And you two have very cool jobs. When I called you yesterday, Dewey, you were in the freezer.
I was in the freezer.
You had a parka on.
All day. Looked like an Eskimo. Creating
your fabulous Vault Ice.
Right. We were indeed ice by the ton, as we call it.
Creating cubes and spheres and I don't know what all, but that's what you have going on. So tell us a
little bit about.
Yeah,
we make a specialty cocktail ice, and I'll, sort of let me give you the little evolution of ice here. If we can take just a brief educational moment.
You bet.
So traditionally, what everybody's familiar with is machine-made ice. That's the ice that comes out of most ice machines. It's what you're familiar with at everything from 7-Eleven to most restaurants. We're going to serve up a little pocket shot of rum over the machine-made ice. We've got this. Both of these have been sitting here for about 10 minutes or so. Then we have what we call Vault Ice. Vault Ice is the completely clear, completely pure ice that we create. We'll put the same amount of rum right over that, and we're just going to let that sit for a little bit. But essentially, machine-made ice is what everybody's familiar with. Some of the restaurants years ago started utilizing the ice molds to get that larger format ice, and that's what you see right here. The problem with ice molds, it always ends up cloudy. It's not as sexy, shall we say.
And this is very clear.
Yeah, yeah. And what's interesting about this is both of these ice cubes are made from the same water that we completely purify, reverse osmosis, triple filtered, all that fun stuff. But the difference is the purification process and how it is made in the ice block making machine. See, with the ice mold, when you put the ice mold in your freezer, it freezes from all directions, from the top, the bottom, the side, and all those air bubbles that are inherently in ice get stuck in the middle. Well, the way we make it is it takes 3 key elements. We've got to use, first of all, pristine, pure water. The ice goes into a 300-gallon or a 60-gallon tank, about 300 pounds worth of water, and the water is frozen very slowly, and it moves around. It stays agitated for the entire 3 days, kind of like my second wife. But the ice moves around, it agitates around inside of the tank, and it freezes very slowly from the bottom up over 3 days, and that pushes all those impurities to the top, doesn't allow air bubbles to form, and you get this completely clear ice. So melts slower, looks better, doesn't dilute the taste of your drink, and
computer cut?
Computer cut by machine, and as I believe it's ice as God intended you to enjoy it. Because that's actually how ice is made in nature. Whenever you see a lake or a river that's frozen over, it's clear on top because the ice is moving, it's frozen slowly, and it's from one direction, from the top down. So
that is beautiful.
How about that?
That is.
If you could put it on a ring, we could get engaged, Helen.
That's fabulous. So you have moved.
We've moved. We started out over on the northwest side of Oklahoma City. We actually started out as an ice sculpture company. Ideas in Ice was the original name of the company. We purchased that company, transitioned it into Vault Ice, and now we exclusively make cocktail ice for bars, restaurants, hotels, country clubs, parties, wherever you want to have it.
You're shipping
nationwide,
all the time.
Shipping all over the place. Yeah, we go through food distributors and wholesalers, resellers, grocery stores, all that stuff.
So local bars have it. You all have it.
Absolutely.
I don't know what else.
Oh my! 2 years ago I could have named every location by name. Right now, my gosh, I can't tell you every location.
But everybody's got it.
Yeah,
I went to Quan's Kitchen. They had it.
Yeah. Me trying to name all of this would be like Joan Collins trying to name all of her husbands. I just can't do it.
Okay, but local bars, local restaurants, and sometimes they have it on the menu.
Oh yeah.
It says
listed on the
Vault
menu.
Ice. I think that's very interesting.
We think it's awesome as well.
And so you sell your ice.
We do. Right now it's available retail at Uptown Grocery. Comes in convenient 6-packs. Right now we only have cubes, but in 2019 we'll be launching the spheres as well. So let me show you that. I've got a nice, sexy little sphere right over here.
Oh, now see, I like that.
Melt even slower than the cubes. They look really, really cool. And something else that we've come up with this year. Now, I think I've shown you the ice stamp in the past. So we've got these created. This is actually from MMR. And this ice stamp, whenever you put it on top of the ice and you just give it a little push, you can see the water coming out. You can actually emboss your ice with
oh my gosh,
the logo.
Yes,
it's kind of hard to
I
see
remember that,
so
but
clear.
that looks better than the ones before. So
Now we've got them for spheres, so you can do the same things as one of our new customers here, the red piano over at the Skirfin. Watch this.
Oh my.
You can do the same thing right on the sphere, and you end up with the logoed sphere.
Oh my
Boy,
gosh.
it's hard to see on the camera, but it looks great in your glass.
That is very, very fine.
A little bit of scotch around.
Yeah, it does. That always helps. A little bit of scotch works out
But
great.
Dewey, you can insert things in there too.
You can.
Talk about that.
Actually, it's very difficult to do, but
But
we're
you all make it look easy.
We're not quite ready to mass produce that yet. Right now we're focusing on ice, but we are experimenting with,
Christmas
it's called
trees.
inclusions, like putting a mint leaf inside or edible floral.
Christmas tree.
We can do engraved ice cubes instead of the stamp, which you can do it yourself. We can also do engraved and embossed ice cubes with your monogram, your logo, Christmas trees for holiday events, sports logos, all sorts of fun stuff.
That is amazing.
I think so. But you know what else is amazing? Is Dan Hayes. Dan Hayes, when you called and you said, hey, Dewey, we're ready to have you back, I said, this is an event that calls for Dan Hayes,
Well,
Oklahoma's most
he's got cool
entertaining
drinks
bartender.
ready to go. I mean,
He does.
See, you all are cool. It's summer. It's hot. Cool ice. Cool drinks.
Gotta have it.
Gotta have it. So tell us about the steakhouse a little bit.
MMR Prime Steakhouse is fabulous. We use prime steaks. Our executive chef, Jonas Favela, is absolutely incredible. Myself and Sammy Sampson and a young lady named Lisa Benton are the other managers. We do wine dinners every month. Here for the rest of the year, we actually have 2 dinners between wine and anniversary and beer dinners. We've got 2 dinners a couple of months, plus with the holidays coming up. But, there's always something fun and exciting that we've got coming up as far as the specialty
to
internet.
die for.
The steaks are incredible.
Oh my gosh.
We just brought in some true Kobe. A5 is the highest grade of Japanese Wagyu. We have on the menu right now an Oklahoma raised Wagyu sirloin, and then we also have a Snake River Farms Wagyu strip.
Well, I don't know the difference, but whatever I have there is
yes.
fabulous.
So, we deal in basically the highest grade of steak that's available to us. We use the prime tenderloins for our chicken fried steak as well. So, it is fork tender. It is absolutely incredible. It's a great place.
So where are you located?
It's at 63rd and May on the southwest corner. It's in front of Aikens and PetSmart, just right there.
And you use Vault Ice?
We do. We use Vault Ice. Dewey and Seth brought this to us a little over a year ago.
Yeah, I think so.
Right around the time that I started in management. So I was very excited to be exposed to it and a part of it and have something like this available. I've worked in restaurants before that did, your store-bought setup, and a lot of times at the house that's what I use, which works fine, but it's gone quickly. It looks really nice.
And these are still sitting here.
Yeah, and these are doing great. No, this guy will be long gone, and this guy will be still about 2/3 to 3/4 of
And I
what
would
he is.
think your clientele would like
They love it. They absolutely love it. We use it, for the most part, the Vault Ice is used, just whiskey on the rock. 100% of the time, near 100% of the time, what we're using it for is a nice whiskey, 1 cold cube. People don't want it to be necessarily diluted, which is the whole point of this. They just like it to be nice and crisp and cold.
So do you have a drink menu?
We have a great drink menu. We got a new cocktail list that we update, every couple of months. We like to keep current. But one thing that's probably never going to leave that list is the old fashioned. That's probably our most popular cocktail.
And you're going to make us one.
Going to make us one of those
All
here in a
right.
moment.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So that one's a great one. Old fashioned, as the name would suggest. Pardon me.
And I will tell you, while we were talking about cocktails in MMR, we attended a cocktail pairing or a whiskey pairing
Yeah,
dinner.
so we did a whiskey dinner. You guys came
it
to
was
the
great.
balcony
3 hours.
one.
It was 3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours long, and
Six
I've
pours. You
been
told me
to
it was
wine
6 pours.
dinners, and the wine is all great and wonderful. But this is the first time I've been to a whiskey dinner where every course came out with a new serving of whiskey over Vault Ice, and the cube lasted.
Yep.
I
Whole
gotta
dinner.
say, I was even surprised. It lasted through the entire 3
I
hours
remember
of dinner.
they had made the reservation,
Really?
and I said,
Yeah.
okay, here's our other reservation. Can your cube handle 6 ounces in 3 hours? And they're like, oh, one way to find out.
Let's do it.
It did great, yeah. So every guest had the option of drinking it neat or over the ice. Most chose obviously over the ice, but even their last portion, enough in there to get it nice and cold. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to use Old Forester, and I told
Yeah.
you earlier that that's the old family drink. So
Yeah, Old Forester, as we discussed, is one
amazing.
of the few distilleries that can boast that they've made whiskey this entire time. It's been continuously in production. During Prohibition, they had a medicinal recipe of their whiskey.
Well, it is. It's for medicinal purposes.
Of course it is.
Absolutely.
All the time.
Yeah, I think that all whiskey is made in a medicinal recipe, but as far as legal terms, they got to use that during Prohibition to be continuously producing it. This is their 86 proof. They're straight bourbon. This is what we use in our household fashioned all the time. As I mentioned, old fashioned is a drink that was kind of invented before there were mixers. You know, there was a rusty nail where we took whiskey and honeyed scotch and put them together. Okay, now what? Well, I've got bitters, and I guess we can find some sugar and get them in there. That's where the old fashioned started. So the old fashioned is going to almost always be a full pour on a cocktail. So you're going 3 ounces of your bourbon.
And a full pour is a jigger full, is that right?
Well, so every jigger is different sizes.
So when you ask for a full pour, you should ask for a full pour. I like that.
A jigger can come in many sizes. This is 2 ounce and 1 ounce. There are many different variations. 3 ounces by state law is the maximum amount of liquor you can have in 1 glass in front of a guest.
Wow.
So that would be what we would serve as a double. Our house pour is a 2 ounce. So typically if you come in, we'll say, oh, single or double, or we'll ask, especially if it's a straight whiskey, oh, 2 ounces or 3. So
That's new. I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
So just whiskey is all we have here so far. One of the main parts of an old fashioned is that you use bitters and also a little bit of simple syrup. I have a few here. Peychaud's is a real standard one. These guys are made here in Oklahoma City. I think my microphone is making a pass at me here. These are for Windships. There's a gentleman named Josh Cockle that I used to bartend with. Makes these, distills them, bottles them, all here in Oklahoma City. Actually just right around the corner from here at the Urban Agrarian, I believe, is where he does all of his work.
Wow.
So I have a barrel-aged bitters, and I have a blood orange bitters. Orange is typically a flavor that's going to be in there. Of course, I've got some oranges here with me as well. Another thing that's typically in old-fashioned is your Luxardo cherry. We like to start that at the bottom so that flavor can permeate a little bit throughout the rest of the drink.
It looks like it's black.
A Luxardo cherry.
Yeah, it's very, very deep and a real deep red to it. It's got a real nice sweetness, but it's not the over-the-top candied sugary sweetness like a maraschino. It's more of a savory sweet, and it's meant to be a
We've already learned about 5 new things.
Sure.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going too.
So a lot of people will put raw sugar or plain white sugar in an old fashioned and then try to muddle all that together and let the alcohol melt down the sugars. At the restaurant, we just use simple syrup. You know, simple syrup is fantastic. It's already broken down the sugars. It helps to sweeten up the cocktail just a bit to kind of counteract those bitters a little. But for the most part, you know, this is a whiskey beverage. There's not a whole lot more you need to it. Other than, of course, some vault ice.
You need some ice. I got you right here. Want a cube or
Yes,
sphere?
one. Cube, sir.
Cube it
We
is.
do a cube, and then
you go.
typically what we like to do at the restaurant, pardon my reach, is we'll set this on here, because that's a nice amount of time for that M to settle in. And then pour this guy right over the top.
Well, look at that.
I like that.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful guy. And all old fashions need just a little bit of an orange peel. So anytime you've got a peel or a twist, you should be seeing the bartender do something similar to what I'm doing there. All your oils are in the skin of it, and you want to get that all around the rim, so every drink you have a little bit of that essence, and then just let it sit in there. But as you can see, once
That is a beauty.
once it's in the glass and over the ice with some whiskey around it, it's a little easier to see the M. I don't know if we've got a camera that's available to get over the top there.
No overhead work here.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Hey, look at that.
Very fine. Oh, that's beautiful.
That is.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a blast. It's definitely, you know, like I said, once there's a little whiskey around it, the stamp stands out quite a bit, and so the guests are always really happy to see it. It's a nice one. Thank you so much.
Very nice.
All right, are we ready for the other 2 cocktails?
You bet.
Very
Carry
good.
on.
So this next one is a little something new that we're working on that is in essence a, where did I put it? There we go. In essence, it's just a blue cosmopolitan. So we're going to use vodka, and we're going to use an orange liqueur, and we're going to use cranberry juice. But we're going to get a little bit of a difference going on, and that is going to be an orange flavored vodka. We're going to use blue curacao, which a lot of people will see in some more like tiki style beverages.
This is kind of like a fall drink, I think. What do you think?
I think it's
coming,
like anytime drink.
August coming up though, September.
August through August would probably be
Right. I think there's no wrong time for any cocktail. This one we are not specifically aiming toward, but we want to include the fact that, you know, it's about to be thunder season again. And it's always nice to have a festive blue drink.
So we got blue.
So it's going to be blue. I use a white cranberry juice so that I'm not changing the color on us too much.
And so what's the name of this drink?
You know,
Are we going to name it right here?
A little bit, yeah.
Come on, do it.
We were talking about it, and I like the idea of calling it the OKC Blue because it's a developmental cocktail. So why not name it after the developmental team, right? But I'm serving it in this glass. This is a Belgian beer glass. So if you guys see, similar to like a Chimay or Anthem Brewery that's here locally, makes some Belgian-style beers while you serve in those glasses. But I like it looks a little bit like a drop of water. We're going to use the sphere in this guy. So I will take one of those.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
this guy's
it's already pretty. Right?
Yeah,
Look
right?
at that.
Doesn't that look beautiful?
It's fabulous.
And then this guy is going to do this big, beautiful crystal blue right over the top.
Oh, wow.
That is fabulous.
Yeah, and there's that. And then, of course, since we are wanting to cheer on the thunder, we need a nice round orange.
Oh my word, that's
serve along with
really
that.
pretty, you all. That is just fabulous.
Right.
There you go.
Let's look at it too.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one right there. I like that guy a lot.
With a sphere.
Yeah.
Look
So,
at that.
as mentioned a moment ago, for the most part, what we end up doing with our Vault Ice is just doing whiskey on the rock, as it would be called. A good friend of mine that is also in the journalism business refers to this as Scotchy Scotch Scotch.
And that you said that's a new Scotch.
This is a new Scotch. This is from Macallan. So Macallan is actually just released kind of a new line of Scotches. They had always used both barrel, bourbon barrels, and then sherry casks. And so they're basically separating those two processes to get a little bit more distinct flavor out of those.
And what's the flavor?
Well, lots of different ones when you're talking about Scotch.
Fragrance, though.
Yeah, so this
I like
specific one is another new one that they're doing. This is called edition number 3. They're working with a perfumer to custom build barrels and casks to get different, bigger floral notes, herbaceous notes out of the Scotches. This one's absolutely fantastic. As I mentioned earlier, we have Macallan Flight at the restaurant that we pair with rich cheeses, so it's called mac and cheese. This guy is paired up with Manchego, which is kind of a dense cousin of Parmesan, one would say, and a little nutty and dry, very, very good.
Put your flowers in your ice.
Yeah.
Right. So,
That would be awesome.
this guy's incredible, but just a beautiful 2-ounce portion of Scotch. Nothing wild, nothing crazy, nice little sipper.
You put ice in that?
Yeah, no, you put the 1 Vault cube in there, and of course, we don't want to forget where you're buying your Scotch.
Or where you got the ice.
Or where you got the ice. It's always very important. So we get this stamp on there.
It didn't take long.
But yeah, no, Scotch on ice, especially in summertime when it's hot outside,
There you go.
beautiful. Or in the wintertime to warm you up, it really works both ways.
And I think we've got to-go cups for you, Helen.
We can't say that on camera.
That's beautiful. Y'all, that's so pretty. That is just fabulous. So you do this every day?
Yeah. I mean, the restaurant's open Tuesday through Saturday. We do lunch Tuesday through Friday. And of course, all these cocktails are available anytime, of course. You know, we have a fair amount of people that come and drink at lunch, but obviously most of your whiskey business is at dinner or middle of the afternoon.
5
People,
o'clock?
yeah, 5 to 7 kind of a time frame.
There's a beautiful bar at your place.
Oh, it's
Yes.
Tell us about that
Yeah,
bar.
so we call it the Omega Bar. It's in the shape of the Omega symbol. What we like about it in kind of the original concept is that it's a more social bar. See how we're sitting at a curved table? It's easy for us to turn to one another and talk about things. Most bars are all right edges, you know, all right angles and straight edges. And so to talk to the person you want to talk to, you've got to make an effort a little bit. So we wanted ours to be rounded, to be more social for everyone. So you can kind of, you know, it's the Omega. You should be ending your night there. You know, you should always end up back at the bar. We also have a beautiful blue chandelier right in the middle of the bar. It's kind of the centerpiece of the restaurant.
Blue.
This also meant to kind of shape toward that and homage of that as well. So you'll see the candles on the table are blue. That's blue. There's blue in the logo. I like to wear blue a lot. I have a little bit
Good.
today. Yeah.
Well, so, okay, so you're open all Tuesday through?
Tuesday through Saturday for dinner and Tuesday through Friday for lunch.
Okay, and how about Vault Ice? Are you all open for tours?
Oh, you know, we're not yet, but in 2019 we will be. You can come on over. You can take your group through. We'll give you a private tour anytime you want.
That's
There you
awesome. Well, thanks, Dewey and Dan, for our summer update on special drinks and special ice. We are so glad to catch up on the ice making in Norman and look forward to more ice in the grocery stores and all the restaurants in town. We also look forward to visiting MMR Prime Steakhouse for the excellent steaks and all food there.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Thank you all for coming in and bringing all these wonderful things.
Oh, yes.